Hi, my name is Sopana, and I just moved here from Louisiana 3 years ago because I lost both of my parents. And it was something that I pretty much lost my world. So, growing up, we grew up in a Buddhism culture. And the way Buddhism works is where, every morning we would pray to Buddha. And I just didn't really know a lot about it, but I just knew that I was praying to a God that I didn't know. I just knew that in the Buddhism culture, if you do good deeds, you would get good deeds. If you do bad deeds, you would get bad deeds. So I just have like this voice in my head that's telling me that, I need to do this and this. Your parents aren't going to be in peace. They're not in peace, And I even was told by one of the ladies at the temple that because I didn't have the money to pay my parents' way into heaven, that their soul wasn't gonna rest in peace. And I grew to hate the temple. And I just grew to hate everything. I grew to hate God and ask God, why did he allow this to happen to me? I didn't deserve it. So I just didn't know who to turn to. I drank every day. I just pretty much lost it. But I thought, what a selfish God, because you left me with a son where you could have just taken me. But I had to stay because of my son. So that was it for me. I just drank every day, didn't care. I stopped going to the temple. I stopped just looking for answers. Then one day I fell and I hit my head. I hit my head and I landed in the ICU. They told me I was gonna die. And my sister hadn't talked to me for a long time because she said she gave up on me. But she said she had a feeling that she had to call me. So she called me and I told her I was in the ICU. And she said, God said, I see you. So that's when I finally gave in. And she said, I'm going to order you a book. She sent me a book, and it was not a Bible because she knew I would not read the Bible because I hated God. She sent me Charles Stanley, The Holy Ground. I read it not knowing that it had Bible verses in there. And I just got addicted to that book. So I just happened to go on Amazon and order the Bible, and I just kept driving to the coast and asking God, why did you have to die? You're just a normal human being, but you died. You didn't even live your whole life and you died. Why did you die? And then I start driving to Living Hope when you couldn't go into any churches, but Living Hope was open. So I drove here and I was like, this is kind of awkward staying in the car. And then I ran over a cone. And I felt so bad. I was like, I'm never going to go back anymore. And one of the men had picked up the cone and looked at it. I was like, I'm going to pay for that. He's like, no, just go. So I was like, I felt so bad, so I had to come back. So I came back and I just fell in love with the church here. And as I came to Live in Hope, I had hope. I had a lot of hope for myself. I wasn't in a dark place where I was before, where I was to the point where I wanted to commit suicide. Didn't know if I could speak to my family about it because everybody just didn't understand. When I would talk about God, I just felt that I was alone. I felt that nobody in my family wanted to talk to me anymore because a lot of people said I got brainwashed by, reading the Bible, but little do they realize this was something that I was clinging on to, where my parents turned to the temple. and they passed away. And then I had my brother left who turned to the temple. And he also left. And the only one thing that I did was turn to God. And I'm still breathing. And it's hard because I'm no longer holding that chain by my religion, by something that I grew up knowing, and I left that because I have God in my life and I know I'll be okay. I got baptized, and it was one of the best experiences ever. It just felt like every single burden that I have on my whole body, it was just so light. When Pastor Doug came up to me and he was like, "Can I pray for you?" I was ready. I was so ready. And once he had prayed over me and I went under that water, I know it was just a quick second, but it was like God allowed me to see an image of my niece. You know, me feeding her at 8 years old. What was only a couple seconds, right? But I've seen all this image where I was feeding her like a little kid. Like I knew that I love her so much, you know? And right when it's like I opened my eyes, but it was like somebody lending a hand, like just lifting, pulling me up. And when I got up, I just felt like I can breathe. There was no hurt or no feeling like I have to carry on this guilt that I couldn't fulfill, that I wasn't a good daughter, that everything was just so light. And to me, that was the best thing that I could have ever done for myself and my son. And the best gift that I could have given to my son is Jesus. And the best gift that I could have given to myself is Jesus as well.